Hey everyone! In this video, we will take a trip to Chicago in the 90s and look at 16 things you could find on its streets, from an old Cabrini Green to slip dresses and pagers. Make yourself comfortable and watch the video to the end, because what awaits you there will literally touch all the strings of your soul. Let's go. Cabrini Green. And we'll start with the architecture of Chicago in the 90s. Have you ever wondered what happens when the history of an entire neighborhood is erased by the impact of a construction balloon? Cabrini Green, once a symbol of public housing, was threatened with demolition in the late 1990s. These high-rise buildings, home to thousands of families, had become infamous for their association with crime and poverty. The demolition was part of a larger urban renewal program aimed at redeveloping the area into a mixed-income neighborhood. In the process, not only the buildings were destroyed, but the very fabric of the community, which has endured despite many challenges. Today, Cabrini Green is unrecognizable to those who knew it in its heyday. In its place, new buildings have sprung up to revitalize the neighborhood, but Cabrini Green's legacy remains an important part of Chicago's history, a reminder of the complexities and contradictions of urban development. Now it's up to us to unveil the most famous item. Are you ready? Home Alone. In the 1990s, the streets of Chicago were adorned with eye-catching advertisements for sequels to the beloved movie Home Alone, capturing the imagination of passers-by. Located in busy areas like downtown and near popular attractions, these billboards were hard to miss. The billboards often featured a young Macaulay Culkin reprising his iconic role as Kevin McAllister, and scenes depicting his clever antics and the humorous traps he set for bumbling muggers. These huge posters were part of a massive marketing campaign that capitalized on the success of the original film and ensured that the sequels would attract just as much attention and excitement. The striking images and catchy slogans not only attracted moviegoers, but also became part of the cultural fabric of the city during the holiday season. Families eagerly awaited movie release dates, and the billboards served as a constant reminder of the fun and laughter that awaited them at the movie theaters. These billboards were instrumental in establishing the movie Home Alone as a holiday classic, deeply embedding it in the holiday traditions of many Chicagoans. Give us a like and subscribe to the channel if this fact got into your heart. Write in the comments your fondest memories associated with this movie, and we go on to the next equally interesting fact. Dennis Rodman. Have you ever wondered how the unique style of a sports icon can conquer an entire city? In the 1990s, Chicago was enveloped by the presence of Dennis Rodman, known not only for his basketball skills but also for his apathetic and eccentric style of playing for the Chicago Bulls team. Known for his defensive skills and rebounding, Rodman was also famous for his colorful hair, numerous tattoos and piercings. His bold clothing choices and non-apologetic personality made him a notable figure both on and off the court. Fans and locals could often see him in unique outfits, from wildly patterned suits to casual but distinctive streetwear, as he roamed the streets of Chicago or appeared at local events and clubs. Rodman's influence went beyond sports. He became a symbol of individuality and self-expression, challenging conventional norms and inspiring many to embrace their true self. His antics, from wearing wedding dresses to promoting his autobiography and high-profile novels, were constantly in the media spotlight and added excitement to the city's already vibrant cultural life. Chevrolet Caprice. In Chicago of the 90s, one car that stood out among the rest was the Chevrolet Caprice, a model that was often seen on the city's busy streets. This full-size sedan was particularly beloved by families and law enforcement alike, with many Caprice models serving as police cars patrolling city neighborhoods. Its rugged construction and powerful engine made it ideal for navigating Chicago's varied terrain, from crowded downtown streets to spacious suburban roads. The Caprice's characteristic boxy design and chrome accents gave it a classic look that met the practical yet stylish sensibilities of the era. In addition to its practical uses, The Chevrolet Caprice also found its place in popular culture, often appearing in movies and television shows set in the city. It became synonymous with urban life in the 90s, embodying the spirit of the time through its combination of functionality and style. The Caprice's presence on the streets of Chicago was a testament to its popularity and people's trust in this reliable automobile. 90s men's fashion. If you were strolling the busy streets of Chicago in the 1990s, you would have surely noticed a clear trend in men's fashion. The combination of baggy jeans, graphic t-shirts, and Casio watches defined the urban style of that era. These loose pants provided comfort and a casual, relaxed look that was in keeping with the youth culture of the time. Often paired with graphic t-shirts featuring bold logos, band names, or iconic images, these garments reflected the decade's desire for self-expression and individuality. The oversized t-shirts added personality to casual wear, allowing men to showcase their interests and passions. The finishing touch to this ensemble was Casio watches. Known for their durability and versatility, Casio watches were a popular accessory. Digital or analog, this watch comes equipped with features such as a stopwatch, alarm, and backlight, making it both practical and stylish. The combination of baggy jeans, graphic t-shirts, and Casio watches created a look that was both functional and fashionable, perfectly reflecting the spirit of Chicago city life in the 90s. With this iconic fashion trend in mind, let's take a peek into another aspect of 90s Chicago. What other styles, events, or cultural phenomena left a lasting impression on the city during this dynamic decade? Black pea stones. Have you ever wondered how criminal organizations shaped the urban landscape? In the 1990s, Chicago was heavily influenced by the presence of the Black Pea Stones, one of the city's most powerful and influential gangs. The Black Pea Stones, which originated in the Woodlawn neighborhood on the South Side, grew into a formidable force throughout Chicago. Known for their structured organization and strong leadership, they rose to prominence in the city's gang environment. The Black Pea Stones engaged in a variety of illegal activities, including drug dealing and violent crime, which had a significant impact on the communities in which they operated. Their influence extended socially and politically as they forged relationships with other gangs and local authorities. Despite their criminal activities, the Black Stones also had a complex social dimension. They engaged in community organizing and sometimes attempted to provide resources and support to local residents. This duality of criminal activity and community involvement made them a prominent and controversial presence in the Chicago of the 1990s. Their story is a stark reminder of the multifaceted nature of gangs and their enduring influence on urban life. Protests. In the 1990s, Chicago hosted significant anti-globalization protests near the 1996 Democratic National Convention, highlighting the city's role in broader political movements. In 1996, when Chicago hosted the Democratic National Convention, the streets in front of the convention center became a hotbed of anti-globalization protests. Activists gathered to express their opposition to economic policies that they felt prioritized the interests of corporations over ordinary people. Protesters representing various social justice and environmental groups marched with banners and slogans denouncing trade agreements like NAFTA and the influence of multinational corporations. Their demonstrations were aimed at drawing attention to the negative effects of globalization, such as job losses, environmental degradation, and infringement of workers' rights. Protests were accompanied by peaceful marches, sit-ins, and public speeches, although in some cases there were tensions and clashes with the police. Activists used creative methods to attract media attention, including street theater and symbolic actions, such as chaining themselves to buildings. These protests were part of a broader global movement that gained momentum during the decade, reflecting a growing awareness and criticism of the impact of economic globalization on local communities. Women's fashion of the 90s. Walking the streets of Chicago in the 90s, you could often see women wearing slip dresses as outerwear. a trend that epitomized the minimalist chic of the era. Originally created as lingerie, these dresses were usually made of satin or silk and had thin spaghetti straps. The fashion of wearing slip dresses as outerwear took hold, turning them into a symbol of casual elegance and a rebellion against conventional fashion norms. Chicago women embraced the style, pairing simple and elegant dresses with thick boots, cardigans, or leather jackets to create a look that was both sophisticated and edgy. Slip dresses were popularized by celebrities and fashion icons of the time, becoming ubiquitous on city streets, in nightclubs, and at social parties. The trend was a reflection of the broader fashion ethos of the 90s, which celebrated individuality and comfort. The slip dress was versatile, allowing women to dress it up with heels and jewelry for an evening out, or wear it with boots and a sweater for a casual daytime look. Its rise in popularity also marked a shift toward more relaxed, body-conscious clothing that emphasized personal style over strict dress codes. Larry Hoover. Have you ever wondered how powerful personalities can influence a city's underworld? In the 1990s, Chicago was significantly influenced by the presence of Larry Hoover, the infamous leader of the Gangster Disciples. Larry Hoover, a prominent figure in Chicago's underworld, co-founded the Gangster Disciples in the late 1960s. By the 1990s, he had become a symbol of fear and respect on the city's streets. Despite his imprisonment, Hoover continued to exert considerable control over the gang's activities. The Gangster Disciples engaged in a variety of illegal operations, including drug dealing, extortion, and violent crime. Under Hoover's leadership, the gang expanded its influence, becoming one of Chicago's most powerful and organized criminal organizations. His ability to direct operations from prison demonstrated the complexities and challenges law enforcement faced in dismantling such deep-rooted criminal networks. Hoover's reign was not without controversy. Although he was known for his criminal enterprises, he also tried to market himself as a community leader, advocating for political change and economic development in marginalized neighborhoods. This duality made him a complex figure in Chicago history, epitomizing the conflict between crime and attempts at social reform. Meigs Field. You'll find the history of Chicago's Meigs Field Airport particularly fascinating. Before it was closed and turned into a park, Meigs Field played an important role in the city's aviation life throughout the 1990s. Opened in 1948, it was convenient for business and leisure travelers and had a scenic approach to the Chicago skyline. In the 1990s, Meigs Field was a bustling center, with its single runway receiving a steady stream of private jets and corporate jetliners. It was not uncommon to see small planes taking off and landing here, contributing to the dynamic atmosphere of the city. Despite its popularity among aviators, the airport was often at the center of controversy over its future, given its lakeside location. This controversy culminated in the dramatic and controversial closure of the airport in 2003, when then-Mayor Richard M. Daley ordered the runway destroyed overnight, citing safety concerns and a desire for more green space. This abrupt closure paved the way for the site's transformation into a public park, now known as Northerly Island Park. The park features walking trails, natural habitats, and recreational areas, a stark contrast to its former life as a bustling airport. Italian sandwiches. If you love savory street food that captures the essence of the city, then you would surely love the Chicago of the 1990s. As you strolled the busy streets, you couldn't help but smell the mouth-watering aroma of Italian beef sandwiches from local stands. Italian beef sandwiches were a staple of Chicago street food in the 90s. These mouth-watering sandwiches consisted of thinly sliced, seasoned roast beef soaked in rich, flavorful jus and served on a chewy Italian bun. They were often topped with sweet or spicy giardiniera, a tart blend of pickled vegetables or pickled green peppers, and were the perfect combination of flavors and textures. Local stands all over the city, from downtown to neighborhood streets, became favorite spots for a quick and hearty lunch. Sandwiches became a favorite among Chicagoans looking for a hearty and inexpensive snack, and played a key role in the city's culinary identity. These local stands were not just places to grab a sandwich, but community centers where people from all walks of life gathered. Whether it was a quick lunch break for office workers, a late-night snack for partygoers, or a comfort food for locals, the Italian beef sandwich symbolized Chicago's diverse and vibrant food culture. Long lines often lined up at the booths, and customers eagerly awaited their turn to feast on this iconic delicacy. Coca-Cola commercials. In the 1990s, Coca-Cola's colorful murals and billboards were a prominent feature of Chicago, attracting the attention of residents and visitors alike. The company used large, colorful murals and eye-catching billboards located throughout the city to promote its brand. The ads often used dynamic images of people enjoying Coca-Cola, as well as the brand's iconic red and white color scheme and catchy slogans such as "Always Coca-Cola." The murals in particular added a splash of color and a sense of liveliness to the urban environment, turning blank walls into bright window displays showcasing the brand's fun and refreshing image. Coca-Cola's presence in Chicago was not limited to visual appeal. The advertisements became landmarks of sorts, often serving as meeting points or landmarks for locals. The creativity and artistry displayed in these murals resonated in a city that values public art and design. In addition, these campaigns reflected Coca-Cola's deep connection to popular culture and its ability to adapt to changing trends while maintaining its classic appeal. Pagers. Walking the streets of Chicago in the 1990s, you would have probably noticed many stores selling pagers, the ubiquitous communication devices of that decade. Pager stores sprang up all over the city to fulfill the high demand for these compact devices. Pagers allowed digital or text messages to be received, making them indispensable for professionals such as doctors, businessmen, and emergency personnel who needed to stay in touch while on the road. An audible or vibrating pager beep signaled an incoming message, prompting the user to find a phone to answer the call, a procedure that became a hallmark of the 90s communications landscape. These stores were often bustling with activity, offering a range of pager models with different features and subscription plans. Some pagers displayed simple numeric messages, while more advanced models could receive alphanumeric messages, making them versatile tools for a variety of purposes. The presence of pager stores underscored a transitional phase in the development of communication technology, bridging the gap between landline telephones and the advent of cell phones. Pagers became a symbol of communication and efficiency, as well as a reflection of the fast-paced, mobile lifestyle that defined that era. The proliferation of pagers in stores and their eventual demise with the advent of cell phones marked an important chapter in the evolution of personal communication devices. Movie posters. On the streets of Chicago, 90s, posters for the movies Jurassic Park and Titanic could be seen at bus stops, capturing the excitement and anticipation of these movie giants. The movie Jurassic Park, released in 1993, brought dinosaurs to life through groundbreaking special effects. Posters featuring the fearsome T-Rex and the movie's logo attracted the attention of commuters and pedestrians alike. The movie Titanic, released in 1997, captivated the audience with its epic romance and historical tragedy. Posters for Titanic often featured the film's stars, Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, against the backdrop of the ill-fated ship, creating a sense of impending drama and romance. These commercials were strategically placed in high-traffic locations, maximizing visibility and creating excitement around the films. The vivid imagery and compelling design of these posters not only promoted the movies, but also added a touch of cinematic magic to everyday life. They were a testament to the power of visual marketing in creating anticipation and excitement, contributing to the huge success of both films. Newspaper reading. In this decade, it was common to see commuters on their way to work absorbed in reading the Chicago Tribune or Sun-Times. The Chicago Tribune and the Chicago Sun-Times were the two major newspapers that dominated this area. On the L train, on the bus, or in a coffee shop, you could see people flipping through the pages, catching up on the latest news, sports, and weather. The habit of reading a physical newspaper provided not only information, but also a sense of routine and community as people shared the latest headlines and discussed current events. The tactile sensation of holding the newspaper in your hands, the sound of pages turning, and the ink smudges on your fingers were all part of the daily ritual. Headlines about local politics, crime stories, business news, and sports scores were the center of attention, giving readers a complete overview of events in the city. Advertisements, classifieds, and comic strips completed the rich tapestry of daily reading, making the newspaper an indispensable part of life. With the advent of digital media, this habit began to evolve, but the 1990s was a golden age for print journalism in Chicago. The tradition of reading the newspaper during the morning commute to work remains a nostalgic memory for many who lived during that era. Lollapalooza. The last fact for today is about music. Lollapalooza, founded by Perry Farrell of the band Jane's Addiction, was a traveling festival that featured a wide variety of bands and artists. It made numerous stops in Chicago during its 90s tours, attracting thousands of music fans. The festival was known for its eclectic mix of genres, featuring artists ranging from alternative rock and punk to hip-hop and electronic music. It featured acts such as the Red Hot Chili Peppers, 9 Inch Nails, and Pearl Jam on its stage, making it a must-see event for music lovers. These concerts in Chicago were not just concerts, but cultural events that celebrated the countercultural ethic of the time. Lollapalooza's presence in the city fostered a sense of community among attendees who were attracted not only to the music, but also to the festival atmosphere that promoted artistic expression and social awareness. The event featured art installations, political booths, and performances, creating a multifaceted experience that went beyond the music itself. It was the final installment of a colorful story about Chicago in the 90s,